Hi guys, how are you? Good evening everyone. My name is Shivam Pandey and I'm your geography mentor. So, we will talk about in this particular section about the interior of the earth, interior structures of the earth. Now guys, from this particular topic, a lot many question arises in our examination, whether it is UPSC, whether it is a state PCS, or whether it is SSC or one day examination. So guys, in this particular session, we will going to try to understand about the interior structure of the earth. What are the different type of structures that we see in the interior of the earth? Now guys, you people know that the radius of the earth is around 6370 kilometers. Okay. And the deepest drill that we have done in the earth's surface, that is only of 12 kilometers. And but beside this, we know only earth about 12 kilometers because we have done the deepest drill, but we have the detailed description of the interior of the earth from the surface till 6370 kilometers. So in this particular section, we're going to know about those particular thing only. Hello everyone, good afternoon. Okay, so our heading will be interior structure of the earth, of the earth. Now guys, before knowing these particular thing, we should know about the radius of the earth. We have the two different kind of radius. We have the vertical and horizontal radius. We have the vertical radius and we have the horizontal radius. When we talk about the vertical radius is 6330 kilometers. It is 6330 kilometers. And when we talk about the horizontal radius, it is 6370 kilometers. Okay. Now guys, the deepest drill, the the deepest drill that we have done, the deepest drill the deepest drill have been that have been done is of 12 kilometers, but we know each and every detail till 6370 kilometers. Okay guys, in 1906 there was a Croatian scientist. In 1906 there was a Croatian scientist. His name was Dmitri Mohorovic. He had Mohorovic has given the detailed description of the interior of the earth. So he was the Croatian scientist. Now guys, after this particular thing, when we talk about the things, guys, he was the first person in 1906. Inside the earth, there is the presence of metal and non-metal. The basic thing that we should know. Inside the earth, inside the earth, there is the presence of metal and non-metal. Both the components are there. There is metal and there is non-metal also. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Now guys, next thing that we have to know, that in the interior of the earth, not all the part of the earth inside, not all the part of the interior of the earth is solid. There are some part in the interior that are solid and some parts are semi-solid, or some of them are in semi-molten stage. Not all the part in the interior of the earth is solid. Okay. Now guys, the question arises that if sir we have done a deepest drill of 12 kilometer, then how come we know about the detailed description of the interior of the earth till the depth of 6370 kilometer? So guys, we have the direct sources and we have the indirect sources. When we talk about the direct sources of the interior of the earth, they are like volcanism, they are like earthquake waves, they are like gravitational waves. Indirect sources, we have radioactive substances. Indirect sources, like we have the earthquake wave, P wave, S wave and L waves. Okay. Now, before starting this particular thing, okay, we have in the interior of the earth, we have radioactive substances. As I told you that with time, the masses of these substances get decreases. Okay, radioactive substances. Now guys, let's start our discussion. Come on. Let's draw a diagram. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Now, here we go. Okay. This is the basic diagram that we all used to know about these particular thing. Now guys, when we talk about the interior of the earth, the distance that we see we have from surface till the center. This is the surface of the earth. This is the surface, from surface, and this is the center, that is the radius. This is 6370 kilometers. Okay. So this is the center and this is the surface. So the radius of the earth is around 6370 kilometers. The interior of the earth is divided into three different sections. From the surface, remember guys, from the surface till the depth of 80 kilometers, we have the crust. From the surface till the depth of 80 kilometers, from 80 kilometers, we have the presence of crust. This is crust. Okay. And from 80 kilometers till the depth of 2900 kilometer, from 80 kilometers till the depth of 2900 kilometers, we have the presence of mantle, we have the presence of mantle, and from 2900 kilometers to 6370 kilometers we have the presence of core. Okay guys, now remember one thing guys. When we talk about the crust, in crust the metallic characteristic of the earth is less than the non-metallic characteristic, or if I say the non-metals are much more than the metals in the crust. Okay, so remember this thing. After this, when we talk about the mantle, what happens in mantle? In mantle, the non-metals are almost equals to the metals. Okay, so these are the things in mantle. When we talk about core, in core, metals are much more than the non-metals. Metals are more than the non-metals. Now guys, there was a question in defense examination regarding this particular thing, that and the question was in the statement form, and the question was that as we move from surface to the interior of the earth, the metallic characteristic of the earth increases. It was in the assertion and reason type question. Okay, so according to this particular thing, yes sir, as we move from surface to the interior of the earth or towards the radius of the earth, the metallic characteristic of the earth increases. Okay, so we should know about this particular thing. The metallic characteristic of the earth increases as we move from surface to the earth. Very first statement is there. Write down this statement, that as we move from the surface towards the center of the earth, the metallic characteristic of the earth, the metallic characteristic of the earth increases. Remember this particular point. Okay, let me check the comments please. Okay, Sudhanshu, actually this particular channel is dedicated to English medium students only. Okay, so we have some limitations, so this particular session will be only in English. I'm so sorry for that particular thing, but we have some limitations. Okay, I'm sorry. Now guys, when we talk about the crust, remember one thing. The crust is divided into two different parts, or the two different groups. Okay, we have the upper crust and we have the lower crust. Guys, here we have a hazardous boundary. Why this hazardous boundary is there? This thing was explained by Parat and Airy. Two scientists were there. One was geographer and one was mathematician. So we'll talk about Parat and Airy in our upcoming classes. But before knowing Parat and Airy, we should know that the line that divides upper and the lower crust is in the hazardous way. Only this particular line is in the hazardous way. We will know the reason why this is so in our upcoming classes. So crust is divided into two parts. We have the upper crust and we have the lower crust. Now guys, when we talk about the upper crust is commonly, or it is commonly known as, upper crust is commonly known as the Sial. It is known as Cial. Cial stands for silica and aluminium, and lower crust means Sima. Sima means silica and magnesium. Now guys, when we talk about the upper crust, when we talk about the Cial, remember guys, in this particular Cial, the non-metals are more than the metals, and guys, in this particular Sima, the non-metals are almost equal to the metals. Remember this thing. Okay, so these are the things. After this particular thing, let's come towards the mantle. Guys, when we talk about mantle, mantle is again classified or divided into two different groups from 80 kilometers to 450 kilometers. From 80 kilometers to 450 kilometers. From here we have the upper mantle. This portion is known as the upper mantle. Remember this thing. And from 450 kilometers to 2900 kilometers, we have the lower mantle. Remember this thing, guys. Okay, this is important for our exam point of view. Now guys, when we talk about the upper mantle, first tell me that things are making sense to all of you or not. Just let me know in the comment box that things are making sense to you people or not. Okay, after this, when we talk about the upper mantle, guys, upper mantle is again classified or divided into two different groups. From 80 kilometers to 100 kilometers. From 80 kilometers, when we talk about from 80 kilometers to 100 kilometers, this is 100 kilometers. We have the substratum. Here we have the substratum. And guys, from 100 kilometers to 450 kilometers, we have the asthenosphere. This particular thing is known as the asthenosphere. After this, from 450 kilometers to 2900 kilometers, we have the presence of the barosphere. This is the barosphere. Okay, remember these things. These are very important points for our examination. Okay, in examination, the examiner may ask you to chronologize these particular thing. It may ask you the chronology from top to bottom or bottom to top. So remember this particular thing. Okay, we should need to understand the mindset of the examination also. After this, guys, the interior of the earth. Okay, after this thing, the core is also classified or divided into two different groups or the two different sections. We have from 2900 kilometers to 5100 kilometer. We have 5100 kilometers. We have the outer core. And from 5100 kilometers to 6370 kilometers, we have the inner core. Okay, so these are the things that we people should know about the interior of the earth. So what we have discussed, we had talked about that interior of the earth is classified into three different groups. What are those? We have the crust. From surface till 80 kilometers, we have the presence of crust, and from 80 kilometers to 2900 kilometers, we have the presence of mantle, and from 2900 kilometers to 6370 kilometers, we have the presence of core. After this particular thing, guys, we have divided the crust into two different groups, or we have the upper crust and the lower crust. Mantle is divided into two groups. We have upper mantle and the lower mantle, and again upper mantle is categorized into two groups. We have substratum, asthenosphere, and lower mantle is divided into barosphere in one thing only. After this thing, the core is divided into two different groups from 2900 kilometers to 5100 kilometers. We have outer core, and from 5100 kilometers to 6370 kilometers there is the presence of inner core. Okay, so these are the things that we people should know. After this particular thing, we should know about the discontinuities also. Okay, we have to know about the discontinuities, but before knowing about the discontinuity, we should know that outer core is known as NiFe. It means in outer core we have the mixture of nickel and iron, and in the inner core there is only the presence of iron is there. In inner core there is only iron present. Okay, so these are the things. Now guys, let's talk about some discontinuities regarding the interior of the earth. The very first discontinuity which is present in the interior of the earth, that is the present between upper crust and the lower crust, and that is known as Cornard discontinuity. Here we have the presence of Cornard. Cornard discontinuity. Now guys, these discontinuities are named. Okay, Rakesh, tell about knife. Knife means N-I-F-E. Ni stands for nickel and Fe stands for iron. It stands for iron. So the outer core is the mixture of nickel and iron. Okay, and it is in the semi-molten stage. Okay, so these are the thing. Knife stands for nickel and iron. Remember this thing. Now guys, after this particular thing, when we talk about lower crust and the substratum, so lower crust and substratum is divided, or the discontinuity that divides these particular thing is known as Mohorovic discontinuity or the Moho discontinuity. Mohorovic discontinuity. Remember guys, this Mohorovic discontinuity is again the name of the scientist, that is Dmitry Mohorovic, who has found this discontinuity. Cornard is the name of the scientist who has found this particular discontinuity. So the name of the discontinuity is named after the scientist. Okay, so these are the things. After this particular thing, when we talk about the discontinuity between substratum and asthenosphere, so this particular discontinuity is unnamed. There is no name of this particular discontinuity because we don't know the name of the scientist who has found this particular discontinuity. And after this, when we talk about the discontinuity that is between the asthenosphere and barosphere, so the discontinuity that is between the asthenosphere and barosphere is the Rapeti discontinuity. It is between asthenosphere and barosphere. Remember this thing. After this particular thing, the discontinuity that is between barosphere and outer core is known as Gutenberg discontinuity. This particular discontinuity is known as Gutenberg discontinuity. This is the Gutenberg discontinuity. After Gutenberg discontinuity, we have we have the next one, that is the Lehman discontinuity. And Lehman discontinuity, guys, it is between the outer core and inner core. Lehman discontinuity. So here we have the different discontinuities. Now, it's not over yet. We have to know each and everything about these particular discontinuities. Like, sir, I'm telling you, like these discontinuities are present where and dividing which boundaries. So yes, Rakesh, there are lot many metals. Let me tell you, I'll tell you each and everything, but let me talk about these things. We will go step by step. Okay. After this, I'll talk about the metals only. Okay. We'll go step by step. We'll not directly jump into the metals. We'll go step by step. Okay. So we'll take baby step. Need not to worry. I'll complete everything in this particular section only. Okay. In this particular class, I'll cover everything. You need not to worry. We have plenty of time. Okay, Rakesh. Now, the very first thing, guys, that Cournot discontinuity. It is simply between the upper and the lower crust. Between the upper and lower crust. Okay. Very first thing. After this, let's come to the Mohorovic discontinuity. Now, guys, this Moho discontinuity, this particular Mohorovic discontinuity is between lower crust and substratum. Very first thing, that, sir, it is between lower crust and substratum. After this particular thing, after this, Mohorovic discontinuity is also between the crust and the mantle. It is also between the crust, and mantle. Remember this thing also. This is again the important one, that it is between the crust and the mantle. Now, guys, anything else that we could see between the Mohorovic or Mohorovic discontinuity? No, sir. Nothing hidden part is there. Let's move towards the next. That is the Rapidity discontinuity. And this is the unnamed one. So between substratum and asthenosphere, we have the unnamed discontinuity because we don't know the name of the geographer or the scientist who has discovered this particular discontinuity. When we talk about the Rapidity discontinuity, guys, this particular Rapidity discontinuity is between the asthenosphere and barosphere. Between asthenosphere and barosphere. First thing. After this thing, this particular discontinuity is also between the upper mantle and lower mantle. Between upper and lower mantle. Okay, it is between the upper mantle and the lower mantle. Okay, it is, you can also say that sir, this Rapidity discontinuity is between the asthenosphere and lower mantle, or it is between the upper mantle and barosphere. You can say anything regarding this particular. Now, guys, after this, Gutenberg discontinuity. When we talk about the Gutenberg discontinuity is between the barosphere and outer core, is between barosphere and outer core. Okay. After this thing, Gutenberg discontinuity is also between the mantle and the core, between mantle and core. It is also between the lower mantle and outer core, between lower mantle and outer core. Remember these things. These are important one. These type of question came into your examination directly. Okay, remember 2-3 question will be there. Good afternoon, Shivam. How are you? Okay, these are the things. After this, when we talk about anything else that left here, nothing is there. Okay. Now guys, Lehman discontinuity. When we talk about Lehman discontinuity, this particular Lehman discontinuity is between outer core and inner core. It is between outer core and inner core. Remember guys, these discontinuities are very much important for your examination. A question is there. Always there is a question regarding these particular discontinuities. Okay. So guys, are we good about these particular thing? If we are good about this particular thing, then do let me know in the comment section that are we good about these things, so that I can move further. Let me know in the comment section, please, everyone. Okay, now guys, let's get into the rock structure of the interior of the earth. Okay, let's talk about the rock structure of the interior of the earth. As usual, you people were asking. Now, the next thing. Remember this particular thing. This is the important one. Come on. Are we good about these things? Now, guys, let's move towards the next section. That is the rock structure. Please let me know in the comment section, everyone. Now, guys, before knowing the rock structure of the interior of the earth, we should know about the certain things. And what are those? We should know about a term that is SIM. What does SIM means? Guys, S stands for sedimentary rock. I stands for igneous rock. M stands for metamorphic rock. So we have the sim. Okay. Now guys, when we talk about this particular sim, remember one thing, a very common question arises in your examination regarding this sim. Guys, this particular sim is the increasing order of density. Remember one thing, it is the increasing order of density. Increasing order of density. After this, this sim is also the increasing order of hardness. The hardest rock among the sim is the metamorphic, and the softest one is the sedimentary. The densest rock is the metamorphic, and the lowest density rock is of the sedimentary. After this particular thing, it is also the increasing order of melting point. Remember, it is the increasing order of melting point. It is the increasing order of the melting point. After this thing, guys, what we have to know? After this thing, sim is the only decreasing order of water percolation. The holding capacity of water is much in the metamorphic rock, and water will penetrate inside the sedimentary rock. So the holding capacity of water is low in the sedimentary rock and highest is in the metamorphic rock. That's why sim is the decreasing order of the water percolation, means the water will penetrate much more in sedimentary rock, and water will not be able to penetrate under the metamorphic rock. So remember this thing, this is the important one. Okay, now it is the decreasing order of water percolation. This one is important. This is important. Okay, so we should know about these things regarding the sim. Now guys, we have to take some examples also of these particular rocks. Now, when we talk about the sedimentary rocks, the example of sedimentary rocks are the sandstone, talc and shale. Sandstone, talc and shale. So they are the example of sedimentary rock. After this, when we talk about igneous, in igneous rock we have the example of granite and basalt. And in metamorphic rock we have the example of marble and gneiss. Marble and gneiss are the example in this particular thing. So are we good about these things? And remember one thing guys, as we are moving from surface to the center, the density also increases and temperature also increases. Remember this keyword. As we move, remember this note. As we as we move from surface to the center of the earth, the density increases, the density, temperature, the density, the temperature increases with depth. Increases with depth. So I hope you people may now understand the concentric circle that we had drawn in our previous classes. So iron was at the lowest in the inner part. Iron was in the inner part of that particular concentric circle. Okay. So iron was in the inner part. Here I have drawn in inner core the iron. Iron is present in the inner part. Now you people can relate that particular lecture with this thing. Okay. Now guys, moving forward. So these are the things that we could see here. So are we good about these things? Please let me know in the comment section, guys. Are we good about these things? Now, let us take the examples regarding these particular rock structures. That, sir, what are the different rocks that are present in the interior of the earth? Okay, now let me draw the map. Just wait, guys. Okay. Let me draw the map of the interior of the earth. So we have drawn these structures like this, somewhat like this. Now, we have the Sial, we have the Sima or upper crust or lower crust. After that, we have the substratum. After that, we have asthenosphere. After that, we have barosphere. After barosphere, we have outer core. Then we have inner core. So these are the things that we have known up till now. Now guys, after this particular thing, after this, when we talk about the Sial, guys, Sial is majorly made up of, mostly made up of, you can say Sial is mostly made up of the sedimentary rock. Sial is, it is mostly made up of sedimentary rock. Okay. The very first thing, that sir, it is made up of sedimentary rock. After this, when we talk about Sima, guys, Sima is equally made up of sedimentary and igneous rock. It is equally made up of sedimentary and igneous rock. So these are the things. After this, when we talk about the substratum, guys, substratum is purely made up of the igneous rock. Okay, substratum is purely made up of, it is completely or purely made up of igneous rock. After this, asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. It is made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. Remember this thing. Okay. Now, after barosphere, after barosphere, when we talk about barosphere, so guys, barosphere is completely, it is completely made up of, completely made up of metamorphic rock. It is completely made up of the metamorphic rock, and you people know that interior, that core, whether it is outer or inner, these core are in the semi-molten stage. Okay, they are in the liquid stage, or you may say that they are in the semi-molten stage. I'm so sorry. Okay, guys. Now, let's take the example of these particular rocks only. Okay, let's take the example. Guys, when we talk about Sial, so Sial is made up of granite, sandstone, talc, shale, and also granite is there. Sandstone, talc, shale, and granite. Now, guys, due to this particular thing, granite, Sial is also known as granitic crust. It is also known as granitic crust. After this thing, when we talk about the Sima is majorly made up of basalt. Okay, so it is majorly, okay, it is majorly made up of basalt. It is majorly made up of basalt. Now, when we talk about the substratum, guys, substratum is also made up of basalt. Substratum, it is also made up of basalt. It is also made up of basalt. After this particular thing, when we talk about the asthenosphere, guys, this particular asthenosphere is made up of basalt and gneiss both. This asthenosphere is made up of basalt and gneiss both. After this thing, when we talk about barosphere, barosphere is made up of gneiss and marble. It is made up of gneiss and marble. So these are the different rock structures that we found in the interior of the earth. Remember about these particular things, they are very important for our exam point of view. Pratigya, I'm so sorry for this particular thing. Let me tell you people that this particular channel is dedicated to Careerwill GS English medium. So Pragati and all out there, we have some limitations. We have to teach in English only because this channel is especially made for the English medium students or those who wants to study GS in English medium. So we have some limitations. So we can't take this lecture in Hindi. I hope you understand. Pragati, this is Pratigya, I'm so sorry. Pratigya, this is sufficient. This geography lecture, polity, economy, bio, everything is more than sufficient. We are not targeting any one examination. You can see the Careerwill GS in English medium. It's all about GS. We are studying the general studies or general science. When we are talking about geography, we are talking about complete geography. Your UPSC will be covered, your state public service examination will be covered, your SSC examinations will be covered, your one-day examination will be covered in this particular section. So automatically CDS is falling in this particular scope only. Okay, you need not to worry. From this particular state, from this particular platform, I can say this thing, that if I'm teaching in this particular platform, then very responsibly I can make this a statement that the geography that I'm covering is more than sufficient for your examination, whether you are giving UPSC, state PCS of any state, whether you are giving the NDA, CDS, SSC or any other examination. Okay, Pratigya. So these are the things. Now. I hope you people understand about these particular things. So are we good about these things, guys? Please let me know in the comment section if we are good about these particular things. Okay, guys. Buddies, are we good? So these are the different things. So we had talked about a lot many things out there. Okay. So these are the things. Okay, guys. So I guess we should end the session right there. So this is all for today. I hope you people enjoyed this lecture. Thanks a lot and Jai Hind. Thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning with our current affair discussion. Okay. Till then, bye-bye and Jai Hind. Enjoy your evening with your friends. Bye everyone. Thank you.